We're ready to roll here from Summerville. Goose Creek is kicking off to the green wave. A sidewinder here from Zach Drake. That'll put the Wave in good field position to begin. Green Wave have played just 2 games this year. Their first game was a last-second game. They needed a replacement. They went up to, Gaffney. No big test at all. And they actually played pretty well for about a half of that football game, and then played Berkeley last week. They had a day to prepare for Berkeley's offense, led them 21-0, hung on, and won that game. We introduced you to Berkeley, Summerville's quarterback, Campbell McCurry. McCurry was the number 2 quarterback last year, the junior, trying to build off some of that success a little bit. Marquez Spells begins the game as the back. You'll see 4 of them, and this is a good start for Spells. That's 15 yards and about 2 more as he is spun around by Darius Singletary, number 5. A first down run for the Green Wave to get this thing going.
Spells able to find that edge, was sealed perfectly, and then number 3, Yannick Smith, with a nice block downfield, didn't hold, released at the right time. Summerville in business.
Very quickly in business. Here's Spells once again. Now, Goose Creek's defense, for as well as their offense has been playing, their defense has given up points. They gave up 44 last week to Stratford. They gave up 28 to Wilson, 28 before that to West Ashley. It's a young defense that graduated 26 seniors off this team.
Wow.
And they're hoping week by week to keep getting better, and they don't know exactly what they'll see from this Summerville team that only has 2 games on film.
Growing pains on the defensive side. Offensive got it figured out early on.
Second down for Spells, and he is wrapped at the ankles. Penetration on the second consecutive play for the Gators. That's Ben Marabella, 35, the linebacker. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Campbell McCurry, first name may not sound familiar, but the last name certainly does. He is the youngest of 4 McCurry brothers to come play and through Green Wave territory in Summerville.
3rd down and 9. Here he is on the move. He tucks it pretty early, and he's bounced out of bounds after about 2 yards. That's Isaiah Addison on the stop.
Good pursuit on the outside by the guys in the white jerseys. Pushed him out.
Summerville has one of the best kickers in the area. This is probably outside of his range, although he's got Twitter videos that'll tell you in practice he can make it from this distance. But Summerville doesn't appear to be messing around. They'll punt. This is Gage Lewis, so he's handling both the kicking and the punting duties.
Who would have thought that when you start doing your research to be a play-by-play guy, that you can go to Twitter and find videos to find out about the guy?
For high school games, it's an amazing resource, let me tell you. Goose Creek didn't have anybody back. Gage Lewis bounces this and expertly rolls it down to the 8-yard line. He didn't need a whole lot on that punt. He gets 19 yards on it, but it's perfect. And they will spot him. I said the 8, at the 13.
Another advantage to this beautiful turf. It's like chipping onto a perfectly manicured green. That ball just hit and stuck.
Dimitri Simmons has not stuck often when he's had the football. He's back there, so is Drew Moore. The quarterback has thrown for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns. He is averaging over 300 yards a game, and he is overshadowed. And he's going to throw on first down to a knee. They'll say he's down, and they'll give him the catch as well. That was Kion Smith. They got a couple of big receivers to the Gators. 6'3", Smith, who just had that one, and James Levine, number 2, also at 6'3".
I would say for Jason Winstad, this is as loaded as he has been with weapons. Several of them since he arrived here at Goose Creek.
They play fake it to Simmons. Told you they got a couple of tall receivers. This is Levine, who slides down at the 34. 18 yards there for Levine. A quick first down for Goose Creek.
I mean, we talked about Simmons at the outset, but do not be fooled by Moore. He's thrown for 14 this year.
This time there's a messed up exchange. It's still rolling around. And Summerville looked to be the first one on it. Summerville's got the early turnover. DeAndre Jones, one of two standout defensive ends.
I don't think Drew ever had firm grasp of that ball as he tried to hand it off to Simmons. But for Summerville, after 2 plays, it's basically net +5.
Net +5, and Goose Creek ran 3 offensive plays, and Simmons doesn't have a touchdown.
Yeah.
Let alone a real touch. We'll talk a lot about Dimitri Simmons as the game progresses. Here's Summerville again. McCurry has a new back with him, Christian Grant. Many thought he'd be the starter heading into the year. They fake it to him, and McCurry slips through the line of scrimmage. Dances to the outside. There's a flag in the backfield, and we will check it at the 28-yard line. Could very well be coming back.
Block in the back. What's interesting about that flag, that thing was thrown after McCurry made his cut. Oh, right there on the edge against Isaiah Addison. I thought he eyeballed somebody in the middle of the line, but it was certainly right on the corner.
Tough part about that is when you look at that on film after this game, the block didn't need to be executed. Didn't need to happen, and the lane was still there. Football. They're ready to go.
It's necessary in this game.
Crazy thing about the sport.
They'll march him back 10. They're calling a personal foul. They just marched him another 15 after the initial 10. So the first call was the block in the back, and then the official signaled a personal foul.
So mistakes for both teams. Jason Winstead said it as clear as could be. Look, the key for our offense is just holding on to the ball. They turned it over on their third play. And Summerville knows it needs to capitalize on opportunities, and they just went backwards once they recovered a fumble. McCurry trying to get it back, steps into one, and it should have been intercepted right through the arms of Isaiah Addison.
Addison made a great cut on the play. Chris McDonald was the intended receiver. Ball thrown a little short, a little behind McDonald.
The numbers for McCurry through 2 games are not eye-opening. He's hit on 13 of 25. He's thrown for 80 yards, no touchdowns. He's rushed for a couple. They've split the carries between 4 backs. And Summerville takes a timeout with about 10 seconds on its play clock. So a little choppy here to get going. Summerville found itself in decent field position, punts, gets it back after a turnover, moves backwards, and we step aside. QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. alongside Dean Stevens. Darren Goldwater with you from the newly renovated John McKissick Field. Made it a little bit more spacious, a little bit more of an open field as you look out beyond the bleachers that you can see at the top of your screen. Brand new turf. They badly needed that here. Looks sharp. New lights. Football team playing its home opener here. Traveled to Berkeley last week and went up to the reservation in Gaffney to open the season. Second down and 29 coming up for the Green Wave. Following a couple penalties that negated a touchdown run from Campbell McCurry and then an incomplete pass.
McCurry's strength early in the season is legs.
This time he gives it to Spells, who slips one in the backfield, eludes another on the edge, and then shows a little bit of a burst. Gets himself low and picks up 11 yards.
Spells is like, you guys talk about Simmons all you want. I got a little something for you. First play of the game, broke one off from the left side. This time he's going to go to the right side. Breaks an arm tackle there, and then just outraces everybody with a nice move. Pick up an extra 5 or 6 yards.
Correct myself. That was Christian Grant, 22, not Spells. And Grant will stay in. Spells had the opening series since it's been Grant. Goose Creek comes with pressure. McCurry runs away from it and gets spun down at the shoulder pads. That's Chris Russell Holmes, a 240-pound senior.
Designed quarterback run.
Goose Creek doesn't have anybody back. Second time Summerville has punted in Gators territory in 3 minutes and 13 seconds.
I mean, you do that because why? You're waiting for the fake, or
you have enough faith in Gage Lewis. But Gage Lewis just rolled that thing better than his last one, all the way down to the 1 yard line. 37 yards on a punt doesn't look great, but down at the 1 looks spectacular, and the Gators will begin 99 yards away from the end zone.
Early player of the game for number 37, who just punted at 37 yards. I had a chance before the game to sit down and have a conversation with Joanne McKissick, Coach McKissick's wife. She said Coach would have been very pleased with the new field.
Now, would he have been in favor of turf?
He would have liked, yes. She said he would have liked the new field.
Another time to the air and another completion. It was caught at the sticks and then a pickup of about 3 more yards.
You can see her there behind Mr. McCurry. The gentleman in the yellow hat, that's Olin McCurry, the grandfather. I asked him if he played for Coach McKissick. He's 90. He said no, just coached with him for 19 years.
Simmons slips through the grab of DeAndre Jones, and that's something that has boosted Simmons this year. The fact that it's really hard to get him down. Making sure he goes down was one of Ian Rafferty's, Summerville coach's, keys to this game. It's 2nd and 9.
I think what you're going to find with this turf, though, we've seen a couple of guys slip already. Flag down on the far side of the field. But I don't think Mrs. McKissick's missed a game in 52 years. Of course, here when your grandson Joe Call was here, but she talked about how nice the field looked, and then she said, doesn't the landscaping look lovely on the far side and the left side of the end zone?
Low snap that's handled by Moore, and here goes Simmons. Simmons is tackled by Brabham. I don't know if it's an exaggeration to say that prevented maybe a breakaway, but it could have. Here's 3rd down and our keys to the game.
Well, for Summerville's defense, they have just got to keep Simmons in check. And they're either going to let Moore go or they're going to keep Simmons in check. As for the Summerville offense, they've got to control the game and control the ball to keep it out of Simmons' hands. Statistics don't lie. They will roll up the yardage if given the chance. But if you own the time of possession, if you're Summerville, and the number of plays, you've got a chance to win this game.
Cruz Chevy keys to the game right there. Cruz Chevrolet on Rivers. You've got a friend in the car business. Summerville gets a break here. What appeared to be encroachment on the green wave, which would have given Goose Creek a first down, instead is a false start on the Gators.
Just to put a cherry on top of the Mrs. McKissick Sunday, she also informed me that they are working on a statue of Coach and Mrs. McKissick that'll be placed in that far end zone. And I said, when will it be done? She said, they said 2 years. I told them, you better hurry up because I may not be here in 2 years.
We got another flag here, and I think it's another false start on Goose Creek.
So for the team that's played 4 games, surprisingly sloppy here in the first. Feels like we've been here for about an hour. Put 7 minutes on the clock.
So fewer than 5 minutes off of this first quarter game clock.
Fumble lost. A couple of sloppy exchanges and then a rash of penalties here.
That is the third penalty on this drive. And another low snap as pressure comes on Moore. He's hit by Brabham, the first one to get into the backfield. A 4th and a mile coming up for the Gators.
So you see what Summerville wants to do, bring that defensive back on one of the sides, and they bring it on the strong side this time. He finds a crease. He's not picked up by a Goose Creek lineman.
Zach Drake to punt. Soccer player who Winstead had to convince to come out to the team because he needed a kicker. He handles all of the kicking duties for Goose Creek.
Tell you what, if you can get by the 3 blockers.
Had a free run at it too, didn't they? That was Tyree Bell. Summerville will have outstanding field position at the 35-yard line. And I'll throw this to you, Dean. Third time in 3 possessions that Summerville is inside of Goose Creek's 40. At some point, if you want to knock off a team that's scoring 50 a game in their last 3,
this has got to be the drive.
Got to start cashing in.
This has got to be the drive. And they have primarily run the ball. The passing game may be better suited for the backup QB.
We do expect to see Harrison Weston in the game at some point. Maybe a little bit of a rotation there. This is back to Spells, the starting running back. He gets about a yard.
Chris Russell Holmes, 6'2", 240. Curtis Smiley, 6'2", 275. Those are the 2 big fellas you see right there on the line. And then you throw Aaron Bryant in on the bottom side of your screen. Makes for a pretty impressive 3-man front for the Gators D.
Second down and about 9. McCurry sets and throws a rope. Caught for a first down by Yannick Smith.
Put that one right on the money as he made his break. Found a little seam across the middle on the post. And zips it right there. Great positioning by Yannick Smith.
Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. McCurry on a design run gets a block from Spells and stepped out of bounds as he tried to spin free.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when we were watching, maybe it was McCurry number 3 playing, and we joked about playing, pickup football in the front yard with these guys. And they probably would like to play, in the street, on the concrete, on the pavement. You talk about the toughness of that quarterback. He's a 4th boy.
Christian Grant into the game, and Grant moving the pile, bulldozing his way towards the goal line, and is down at the 2. 12 yards for Christian Grant, a Miller Mott College first down and first and goal.
You oftentimes hear people say he's a guy who likes to run downhill. This is exactly what Christian Grant does on this run.
They'll try Grant again, untouched into the end zone. They'll pay it off on the third try and show off their new lights in the process. A Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college.
Well, you might as well let number 22 finish off what he started. Tough run to get him to that place. He finishes it off. And you got to tell me, you had just a split second of PTSD there after losing the lights last week in Oceanside, didn't you? You thought for a second the lights have gone off again.
Had I not seen it prior to the game,
yeah,
absolutely I would have felt that way.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
New toys are fun to play with.
Yes, absolutely.
And a 7-0 lead for Summerville is something the Green Wave will enjoy as well. 3 opportunities, well inside Goose Creek territory. Finally punch one in with inside 5 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
You talked about the importance of it, the third opportunity. Third time's the charm. I can't imagine if they didn't do something there. Talk about taking the wind out of the sail a little bit, give Goose Creek a little bit of a boost, especially defensively. I keep looking at number 18. I don't know. Oh, I turned. He was gone. I mean, if you Googled high school sports South Carolina, David Shelton name's going to come up first. So I'm going to ask him really quick because I don't remember.
David, what number was 18? You're right.
Was he?
Yes. A.J. Green was number 18.
I keep on seeing 18 on the field, and I think to myself, what year is it?
So why haven't they retired A.J. Green's number?
It's a great question.
I don't know the policy at Summerville for retiring numbers. There's nothing obvious in the stadium of any numbers. One of the benefits to Gage Lewis, touchbacks regularly. There's another one. So we get to throw it down to the third member of our crew, Trooper Bob.
Hey, I'm here at Rockstar Cheer Charleston with Sharita and Taryn. Tell us about some programs you have going on here.
All right, at Rockstar, we offer recreation cheerleading and tumbling, as well as competitive cheerleading. We also have an after-school program and summer camp.
All right, well, she mentioned after-school program. Tell us more about that.
So we pick up from the greater Summerville area. We currently pick up at Sangre, Berkeley Prep, Nexton, Summerville, and several others. Our after-school program runs Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. And we help them with after-school care, homework if they've got stuff, and we do fun camps for them as well.
Special Olympics close to my heart. You also have a special needs program.
Yes, we do. The A team is our free special needs team that practices once a week and competes in the local area in Myrtle Beach. The only price to families is for a uniform. We are so proud of that team. They competed so well last year, and we look forward to starting it this October.
And how can people get in touch with you about your program?
They can go head to our website. It's deltaforcechs.com, or they can send us an email at info@rockstarchs.com.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Thank you very much. Hey, Dean, I did send AJ an Instagram message here a couple minutes ago. Let's see if he responds. I'll send it back to you guys.
Also, they said that you were going to do a somersault.
Yeah, I'm going to do a backflip. They're going to show me a halftime.
I want you to do a somersault right now. You can do it, Bob.
Halftime, Dean.
No.
It's only a somersault.
Right. I didn't ask for a front handspring.
Chin to chest, get low and roll.
Yeah. It's a new turf. It'll be nice and cozy on your dome. It'll be all good. Thanks, ladies. Great stuff.
Meanwhile, 2 holding penalties on the same play on Goose Creek. You can only accept one of them, and that'll back them up to the 19-yard line. They had 3 penalties on their last drive, fumbled on the third play of their first possession, and have a penalty on the second play of this third possession. Fling one out to Simmons here in the flat, and he is pile-driven down by DeAndre Jones. 8 and 9 on this line. Both Joneses, DeAndre and Carnell, expect to hear a lot of them.
Could have gotten a block in the back on the Goose Creek lineman. Didn't happen. But you see a little bit what's so special about Simmons on the 2 runs.
3rd down and 7 in the air and in traffic. It'll pick up only a couple of yards. James Levine, the reception, and it's fourth down again for Goose Creek.
Simmons really just glides as he runs. Had a chance to talk to Coach Winstead before the game about him and the opportunity to play at the next level. And he thinks he's got all the talent in the world to do it. He said for college coaches, he's just a little bit too tall or a little bit too short or just a little bit not fast enough. But I say if you produce, you produce.
If Simmons keeps up this pace, then he'll be on a lot of radars. He's already on radars, but even more so. This punt from Zach Drake is short and takes a Summerville roll. Fourth possession for the Wave. Fourth time they'll be inside the 40-yard line of the Gators at some point in this drive. Offensively, this couldn't have started any worse for Goose Creek.
Couldn't have started any better offensively for Summerville. When you line up over the center and you can look down and see the end zone less than 40 yards away, you're in pretty good shape. Opens up the playbook a little bit.
Ingram the back now. Third different back to get a carry. We're saying Isaiah Addison's name a lot. Stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Really impressed with his aggressiveness, the ability to get to the ball quickly. Great open field tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
You get what you're given when you prepare for these high school games. We got some stats.
Yeah.
Isaiah Addison wasn't listed on the stats, so don't know exactly how he's performed in the first couple of weeks, but I can tell you he's around every play so far tonight.
He was just waiting for the cameras to show up.
Christian Grant out of the backfield and the target. A quick bobble, and he's brought down by his helmet.
Interesting call right here. Your eyes are better than mine, but there was an official 5 yards from that tackle. But that flag came all the way from across the field.
Oh, yeah. Well, he took his head around.
I would say more of a horse tackle than.
But you're
right.
I
would say upper pads, not helmet.
I thought he had around the ear hole. Nonetheless, you're right in the fact that the flag came from almost the other hash mark, at least the middle of the field.
Yep.
Kyle Buskowski.
They're going to go face mask on
it.
Another costly penalty for Goose Creek.
Here's another look at it. I mean, the way the head gets jerked around.
I suppose if your face mask is pointed towards your tail pad.
Your spine?
I would assume that you were spot on, my friend.
It's a Miller Mott College first down, proudly supporting the Lowcountry's high school sports. Spells, spins, and then keeps his momentum going for a couple more yards.
Russell Holmes slows that play down, crashing in from his defensive end position. You see him there on the top of the screen.
That line got a push. That felt like a 2-yard run. It's about 5 yards.
Well, you outnumber them on the line. If you can get that push and keep the linebackers from penetrating, you're in good shape.
Here's Spells again, and he'll be a yard shy of the first down.
And that's exactly what Summerville's doing by running it up the middle. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Their head coach, former offensive lineman. Let's own it up front first.
Third down and short for the Green Wave, leading 7-0. It's Spells who slips. The credit for the tackle will be Marabella, but it's a loss of 1 and fourth down. And the field goal unit for the Green Wave.
Maybe the first call of the year that's not agreed upon by coaching staff and fans in the stands.
Never happens.
But I think when you're playing the potential of what Goose Creek can do offensively, you want points.
Gage Lewis, who will be one of a host of potential recruits on campus tomorrow night at South Carolina, hits the upright And it's no good. So 4 times deep in Goose Creek territory in the opening quarter. And Summerville has 7 points to show for it.
It's also a case where you watch weekend in and weekend out, a team that dominates field position, time of possession, and they don't show a substantial lead is usually a team that'll lose a game. Missed opportunities.
Dimitri Simmons hasn't really gotten going yet. Low snaps have been a problem. On the run more. And he escapes the pressure and slides down in bounds. He could have had another couple and gotten out of bounds, but hey, Drew Moore is safely down after a pickup of, what are they going to say? They'll give him only 1 officially. Here's Simmons, and Simmons gets a shoulder right at the line of scrimmage.
Seabrook Randley, number 21, steps up. Good size for a DB, 6'2", 175.
I don't think Goose Creek will get this playoff. It'll be the end of the opening quarter. Simmons never really got on track in this opening quarter. They threw a lot on first down on their first few possessions, mired with turnovers, and it's 7-0 Green Wave. QFS Transportation, Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. It was the second quarter last week that Goose Creek went crazy to start. They had 28 points in the second quarter against Stratford, added 27 more in the third quarter. If this offense is going to have that type of production in a quarter tonight, it needs to clean up some of its miscues. Right now trailing 7-0 as we bring you back to McKissick Field. Darren Goldwater, Dean Stevens, Goose Creek team that's won the region back-to-back years in Region 7 5A. They've already got a region game under their belt. That was Stratford last week. Strange scheduling. COVID's thrown everything out of whack. So they had a region game, back to non-region. We'll get back into region.
Yep. Hard to find a flow, much like the first quarter.
And it's hard to find, and speaking with Jason Winstead today, a really good idea of what Summerville wants to do on both sides of the ball. They had virtually no preparation time for their first game, had 1 day of practice to prepare for Berkeley's option attack, and in Rafferty's own words, Summerville's coach, they only had a couple plays offensively they were comfortable with. This is the first time Summerville's had a full week of game week practice.
Talked to former Stratford head coach Joe Mary, and he's on the staff at Goose Creek, and he said on film they look pretty good for a team that practiced 1 day.
To the air, Moore, jump ball caught for a first down out to the 39-yard line. it's a huge benefit to have two 6'3" dudes and Kion Smith, who caught that one in Levine, along with Simmons in the backfield.
We talked about the balance and the yardage total of those three guys, along with Drew Moore. Moore did a nice job of standing in the pocket and delivering it to a spot soft in the zone.
Here's Simmons. Isn't going to get away from Xavier Mitchell-Brown. Last week's player of the week in the Low Country from David Shelton in the Post and Courier.
I think Simmons got a pretty good argument there. He thought he was taken down by the face mask. Hard to tell from that angle.
Winstead said the big thing about Simmons this year compared to in the past, he's got that breakaway speed now. Up to make the quick hit is the corner Michael Jenkins. Rafferty said it's a big test for him tonight, a potential D1 corner. It'll be 3rd down and long.
Summerville playing tight up on the receivers, jamming the middle to keep Simmons in check. I think if the Goose Creek offensive line can hold the line, I think their best bet is deep.
Long throw is incomplete. Intended for James Levine.
Well, that's the Division I throw you want to see out of a young man. Just a junior. But when you're throwing it from the hash, the far hash, all the way to the sidelines, and he gets it there, just a little high.
You ready for a comparison?
On Moore?
Yeah.
From the coach?
From Ian Rafferty, a longtime assistant at Fort Dorchester. I'll lead you there.
Oh.
Today said, it's dangerous when a guy can look like DeCarrion Joyner throwing from one side of the field to the other hash mark.
Wow.
Said, I wasn't expecting a Joyner comparison. He said, yeah, we'll just go look at Moore's arm, and maybe you'll expect it. Meanwhile, Goose Creek has less than a handful of first downs on their first, 4 possessions here. And Summerville has it back with a touchdown lead.
I went back and I mentioned it earlier, but if you looked at these two teams and said which teams played 4 games, which teams played 2, I'm going to say your guess has been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say that Goose Creek has come out flat, playing a little uninspired.
Here's Christian Grant picking his way through the middle, and there's been some room to pick there. That's about 3 yards for the senior Grant.
Love the way he runs. Grant and Addison had a little conversation after the play. Addison jumps in, makes the hit.
We were talking earlier about how Summerville defensively needs to find a way to slow down the Goose Creek offense. Here's 2nd down over the middle. Bobbled and caught by Logan Wenzel. A 1st down inside of Goose Creek territory.
2 Gators down. Nice job by McCurry. It looked like he would pump faked a little bit. I don't know if it was just he was waiting for the tight end, the H-back, to kind of clear the area, Wenzel. And Wenzel does a nice job bringing it in. I think the 2 guys down are the 2 that administered the hit on Wenzel. Bring down 2 Gators with 1 hit.
Let's see if there's a better look at what might have happened. A knee to the helmet there. So to me, it looked like Malik Roper, 23. His knee hit the helmet. And I haven't positively identified. Oh, there you go. It was Roper's
hit the knee of his teammate, or hit the helmet of his teammate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Struggling to put weight on that right leg. Ever since I said if they're going to throw the ball, they may look at their backup quarterback. McCurry's looked really good delivering a couple of balls right on the spot. How dare I question the Should have known. The youngest of 4 boys, always the toughest.
Yeah, don't count him out, right? And he looks like he wants the deep ball, but pressure comes up the middle, and down he goes. A couple of Goose Creek defenders meet at the quarterback. Russell Holmes is one of them back there. That takes away a lot of the 24 they just picked up.
Yeah, that pocket collapsed quickly. Tried to move out of it a little bit. Had 82 crossing Dakari McCutcheon. But I don't think he came into his field of view before he got hit by Russell Holmes.
Curtis Smiley was in there as well. 2nd down and 17 now for Summerville. They have been living in Goose Creek territory. First carry for Trey Green, and Green makes it count with a flag in on the back end of that. He comes within 2 yards of a first down, but we'll have to check the flag. Already the 4th back to get a carry for the Green Wave tonight.
Trey Green, sophomore, 5'10", 205. Lays about a 500-pound hit on Jordan Turner as he cleared the linebackers.
Targeting.
I don't. Let's watch it here. Comes in. That was not targeting. That was football collision, man. That was not targeting. He didn't lead with the head. He didn't come off his feet.
Hard to say he launched upwards.
When Trey Green was bearing him forwards.
But it's for the safety of the kids, right?
Yeah.
First down, Summerville, A&I Fire and Water Restoration, making your house home again after disaster strikes. I don't know if that was a disaster, a busted play or not. McCurry not able to get to the outside as he is chopped down.
I think that was Seabrook Ranley. I was looking back down at the notes of how many 4th running back. Green, just a sophomore. And again, you go back to who the head coach is, man. Get you an offensive line coach. It's like, let's run the ball. Let's own the line. Let's hand out some punishment. It's Christian Grant. He's not going to tiptoe around hits.
This time Grant leading his offensive lineman with a pat in the back, and he is wrangled out of bounds by Kavarian Brown.
Flag is down. About the 15-yard line.
I was joking with the officiating crew before the game. No flags, 2-hour game, right?
How's that working? He said 2-hour half.
I said.
I'll back him up behind the sticks. We've got an early date Darren and I do tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
5 a.m. meetup for a 6 a.m. Cooper Bridge Run broadcast. Live, 6 a.m.
Looking forward to be a part of that. This is Harrison Weston. Just into the game, throwing one up for the end zone. It's knocked away. I think that was Seabrook Randley back there in coverage. Here you go. Cooper River Bridge Run live show. Butterflies and all. It is supposed to be a nice morning.
Yeah. 6 a.m. We'll be live on the air. Race starts at 8 a.m. Darren with his debut. First time you ever called a race live?
Of any kind.
Of any kind.
Yes.
Not even a swim race. Not even like...
No. I swam in many swim races. I never called one.
Yeah.
I never called a race of my own, although I could have because I was so slow I could have just called what was happening in front of me.
As long as I've known you and worked by you, I don't think I've ever seen you nervous about a broadcast. Is this nerve-wracking knowing that you've never called a race?
Not at all, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it. How hard can it be? I don't know. I'm in a moving vehicle, so it might be somewhat challenging. Weston stays in there, and we have another flag.
I was going to say there's a lot of dead air time when you call a 5K race, but you're getting a lot of practice tonight.
You know what they don't have, I don't think, in 10Ks? I don't believe flags can be thrown.
No
I don't
flags.
think they can say, wait, stop, back up.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's good. QFS Transportation, proud to present each participating homeschool a check for $500. This grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Over the past 11 seasons, Friday Night Rivals, our sponsors, have donated over $120,000 to Lowcountry students and schools. Congratulations from My TV, Charleston, ABC News 4, and QFS Transportation. Yannick Smith almost had me eating words, eating, reading, a live read. It's incomplete. Third down.
I looked at that was 2nd and 29. I think we had one of those in the first quarter. I don't know if an offense has had a couple of those in the same half of a game. But that one thrown up, and Smith makes a nice adjustment. Fails to bring it in. That one stayed up there a while. Now, do you have a broadcast partner, or are you going solo tomorrow?
Brian Hines will be with me as my expert photog.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody else is talking when I'm talking. Kind of like, well, I'm not sure. Our director, Nick Case, has run it. He has more experience than I do.
Summerville called a timeout, I think, right before the play clock hit 0. Listen, I'm going to be in the corral right at the start line.
Yes.
Along with Tessa. And we'll have 2 hours of coverage before the race starts. Now, when the race starts, there's very little that we do as a broadcast team other than, cheer on the 25,000 runners and walkers that go by us. Now, if you like, I could just bust out with the Kenyans and just jump in the back of the truck with you.
I would like to see you try. That would be entertaining. And this is, after all, a television production. It is entertainment.
Correct.
So if we can figure it out.
You'll be great. You'll be great without me.
I'll say this. Anna Stoddard is one of the elite female runners.
Yes.
And if you are watching us, you could very well be watching in the state of South Carolina. She is a South Carolina graduate and has run the 4th fastest time in Gamecock history in the 10K in May.
I'll be darned.
3rd down and 28 without a flag so far, and it goes backwards. Jalen Richardson into the backfield.
Make that 4th and 30. The advantage that Summerville has had tonight has been in the kicking game, without question. Gage, when pressed, has buried these punts within the 10-yard line.
This the first time that Goose Creek is actually putting somebody back to return the punt.
Short snap. Crushed.
And a fair catch is made. We'll step aside from McKissick Field. 5 minutes gone in the second quarter. Score remains the same as it did with 4 minutes to go in the first. Summerville on top. 7:04 to go, opening half. Story of this game has been penalties. A lot of them. Mostly for Goose Creek. Summerville decided to get into the penalty game on its last possession, but Summerville has lived in Goose Creek territory every offensive possession that they've had and has 7 points to show for it. Goose Creek has a turnover. Hasn't really been able to get Simmons on track. And low snaps have been a little bit of an issue. This one's high and well out of the reach of James Levine as we check in with Trooper Bob.
Yeah, I'm here on the sidelines with Principal Kenny Farrell. Principal Farrell, it's a good day to be out here for football. We're excited about here at Summerville.
Oh, we're just excited about our kids, this great community, this beautiful stadium. We're just glad to be out here and enjoy this great fall night with a great rivalry with Goose Creek. There's a lot of tradition in this field.
Are you playing football here in the Low Country, also at USC? How bad do you want to be on the field tonight?
So if you're a competitor in a night like this, man, you want to play all the time. I mean, the smells, the sound, the crowd, the great band. It's just an awesome time.
Hey, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Take care. All right, we'll send it back to you guys. I'm telling you, the band was so loud here a second ago. I'm glad you guys waited for about 10 seconds to come down here to us. Big crowd here tonight.
It's a good atmosphere down there. 3rd down and 10 upcoming for Goose Creek. After a couple of incompletions, Gators could be fortunate to some degree that was not ruled a backwards pass. And on 3rd and 10, pressure up the edge, then up the middle, right at Moore. Keeps it alive and is out of bounds. About the 25-yard line. It will be about 3 yards shy of the first down. I think Michael Jenkins, the corner, is the one who pushed him out. First time Carnell Jones really affected a play. And that was Shane Daly, 45, who applied to hit as Goose Creek goes 3 and out again. So Goose Creek's possessions, if you're just joining us, 2 plays and a fumble. A whole lot of penalties and a punt, which put Summerville in great field position. They capitalized for a 7-0 lead. A 3 and out, a 5-play drive, then a punt, and now another 3 and out. Best punt of the day thus far. Yannick Smith slips as he takes it, but it'll be good field position again. Here for the Green Wave, they'll begin at the 39-yard line. First time that Zach Drake has punted when he hasn't really been backed up with the end zone right behind him. But the story largely the same. Good field position for the Green Wave after a 3 and out for Goose Creek, which now takes a timeout with 6.5 minutes to go here in the opening half. A very disjointed opening half, especially if you're a Goose Creek team that's won your last 3 games with 150 points.
Right.
Over that span. And granted, the defense has had its issues, but the defense hasn't been given much of a shot here. The whole thing has just felt out of sync for the Gators.
I was going to say, if there's a silver lining if you're Goose Creek, I mean, you gave up 44 last week to Stratford. You gave it up 7 tonight. You gave up 28, as you said, 28 to West Ashley. Now you go back to Berkeley and Summerville. Summerville held them scoreless for the first half. Right, so obviously there's something special about this defense. But offensively, they've had opportunity after opportunity.
Ian Rafferty said this week that he thought the defense would be the team's strength. But really, what do you know? You go up to Gaffney on short prep, play Berkeley, which is a unique offense to prep for in one day. Kind of a barometer game for both teams. It's hard to really get a judge a quarter and a half into it so far. McCurry kept this one, even though the defense flowed with spells and picks up about 4.
I do think it's between the tackles where Summerville's found the most success. First run of the game, he was able to bust outside. Spells was for a large gain. If you're Jason Winstead, what are you thinking right now? I mean, penalties obviously setting you back, not allowing you to get into a groove.
Yeah, there hasn't been a rhythm. Here's Spells again between the tackles. Hopping, jumping, spinning, and off to the races. Marquez Spells. Touchdown, Summerville. Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college from 57 yards out. It's 13-0 Green Wave.
Show me the dance lights. Watch again. Talked about it a minute ago. Up the middle, and then the hard running. And the spin. I don't know what that is on the controller. X, Y, Z. Not sure. But he just hit it. And if you're writing a headline, David Shelton, it's spellbound.
I love it. He gave a shrug, but don't be surprised to see it.
Listen, he's got a mask on, but I can tell the wrinkles on his face. He's smiling. When Shelton and I first met, we had no wrinkles.
Will Nagy's in to attempt this extra point, but there is a flag. It's on Goose Creek, and the question from Kyle Buskowski is whether the Green Wave want to accept it. Nagy's a senior, so that's why, and he's got a big leg. So that's why they will use him and Gage Lewis, even though Lewis is the higher touted of the two. And Nagy did what Lewis did in the first quarter. It's an extra point. A 57-yard run, a two-play, 61-yard drive. Summerville, finding success on the ground against Goose Creek, leads the visiting Gators 14-0 midway through the second quarter.
Wouldn't have thought with 5 minutes left in this quarter that the run game would be dominated by the Green Wave. But that's exactly what happened with Christian Grant, Spells, Trey Green.
McCurry.
And throw a little McCurry on for a little side dish.
The first time Goose Creek had the ball, they came out and went pass, pass, fumble on an exchange.
Right.
Now, Winstead told me, look, it's simple. When we look at a defense, if you've got two safeties back, then we're going to run. If you're going to come up and load the box, then we're going to make your corners play our 2-6-3 receivers. So that's what they were seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if that first series and then the subsequent penalties in the second series
took him out of sync.
Yes.
Needs a hard reset right now. You just kind of go behind that Apple TV box and you just unplug it. And then you plug it back in, let it reset.
Now you drop the kickoff, too. Pick it up at the 5 and down at the 21. About a 16-yard return there for Goose Creek. And frustration clearly evident.
I think that's Simmons talking to the official. I think that goes back to the play where he thought his face mask was grabbed and a flag wasn't thrown, especially after one was thrown on his defense. But again, even on special teams, even on a kickoff return, running your own guy.
Twice. Snaps have been a problem, too, just getting back there to Drew Moore. A lot of them have been low.
And I'll be honest, that's surprising to me.
That's a better snap. That's a great throw. It's on target to Kion Smith, and Smith is out close to midfield. First down for the Gators.
Took advantage of exactly what you were talking about, two deep safety. Smith was able to cut across the middle. But their center has been there forever. Jayden Johnson. Feels like we've been talking about him since he was in the 8th grade, because we have.
There it is again. That ball almost rolled back to him. So Simmons gets a little bit of a later start, picks up 3 to the 49.
And maybe that's a little bit of it.
Johnson is committed, the center, by the way, to Howard. Chose the HBCU over some possibilities elsewhere, as this one is thrown behind the receiver, Davian Malloy.
Man, just totally out. It's like, if there's ever a football team that needed a half and then needed halftime, I think you're looking at them right here. You know, but maybe that snap being inconsistent upsets the tempo and the timing of the offense.
Good pocket for Drew Moore. He's intercepted. Tried to lay it in over top of Xavier Mitchell-Brown, But Mitchell Brown, who had a scoop and score last week, has an interception this week for the Green Wave.
He was right there the entire time. Great hands by the linebacker, our player to watch at the beginning of the game. And for the second straight week in a row, Summerville's got an opportunity to go up 21-0 on their opponent.
Wenzel, the motion man, and again through the tackles. Keep riding what's been working so far. That's Trey Green. He was listed number 2 on the depth chart. He was the 3rd to get carries today, but 4 have gotten carries.
A week ago, Summerville was up 7-0 on Berkeley. And then it was the Mitchell scoop and score, made it 14-0. And then an interception led to their 3rd touchdown. See if history repeats itself here.
Second down, McCurry to Yannick Smith on the edge. Untouched until he had the first down and more. He's out of bounds at the 43.
Looked like there was blown coverage on that side. He was wide open, 2 receivers, nobody there.
It was Addison and I believe Seabrook Ranley.
Yep.
You know, there are a couple guys on, I'm realizing what it is now. 2 players on Goose Creek's roster are listed twice. I guess it depends on the jersey they're wearing. Here is Trey Green again, darting for 9. And Summerville, the opposite of the Gators. They're in full rhythm here as we near the half.
Green's got to come off the field, lost his helmet on the play.
By the way, the last play, 2 plays ago, A&I Fire and Water Restoration, first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes.
Ingram, 4th running back we've seen. Also a junior. Also likes to put his nose in the middle of things and just run people over.
It's not fancy right now for Summerville. It's between the tackles. It's one cut and get downhill. Kavarian Brown, a little animated after the stop.
Yep. And this will be a game where if you look at the first half stats, your leading tackler for Goose Creek is going to be a defensive back, and that's not good.
Ingram again. One cut, bounces off of Brown, spun down eventually by the big 96 Jalen Richardson.
Ben Marabella gets in there first. Able to slow him down a tick, but not near enough.
Summerville's offense going a bit faster. Ingram had a hole, loses the football, and now we're going the other way with Yannick Smith. Cuts it downfield against the grain. It's all going the way of the Green Wave.
Stop it.
Trinidad Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college. Waves can break in multiple directions at one time, apparently. 20-0, this Green Wave.
That was more like a tidal wave where you have to go back across the grain and then turn it upfield. Listen, if that play is not on every highlight reel, on every Friday Night Rivals, in every market across the country, we should just walk away.
Where did that halftime highlight package go? Is Friday Night Rivals not giving that to? Well, we never made it anyway.
I would just like to say, for the record, that's just a little bit of that decision is above my pay grade.
Yeah,
just a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, that was tremendous.
It belongs on. We should start the highlight reel again, just so Yannick Smith. I thought for a second it could go in. That went off the back of an offensive lineman. And then at least spun forward. So it's 20-0 Green Wave. They're in rhythm. They're in sync. Their fumbles are bouncing into their own hands.
Yes. I think that was the first time that they had put the ball on the turf, the new turf.
Yes.
Mom says, don't mess up the new carpeting.
They didn't. They picked it up right away.
Yes, they did.
Clean up on aisle 3 from number 3. Goose Creek will get the ball to begin the second half. Keep that in mind as the Gators have this possession here with 2:53 to go in the first half. Still unable to mount any type of a drive. They've turned it over twice. They've gone 3 and out twice. It has not been the Goose Creek offense that I think everyone, including Summerville's defensive staff, led by Aaron Self, this is not the Goose Creek offense that anybody expected to see.
Nope.
I mean, maybe some of it is what Summerville's doing defensively. You got to give them credit. They are wrapping up, getting guys to the ground, but there's just not a rhythm.
But even, I mean, if you say they're going to shut down the run game, right? Then you look at Drew Moore's numbers through the first 4 games, and you're like, well, you're playing with fire there, but they've done a great job there as well.
Sidewinder from Lewis, but it does get into the end zone, so Goose Creek will start at the 20. We started this game by saying it's somewhat of a test for both teams.
Yep.
Goose Creek's been rolling, but you'd think Summerville would give them a little bit more of a test than West Ashley, Wilson, and Stratford.
Right.
And for Summerville, Gaffney wasn't a fair test with a day to prepare. Berkeley, you could say, wasn't a fair test, and they passed the test preparing for that option in a day.
Right.
Simmons swallowed.
Nothing there.
Loses 2. Shane Daly leads the tacklers there, 45.
You watch the Summerville defensive line and the penetration.
Now Moore's in all sorts of trouble again. They're going to mark him close to that original line of scrimmage.
I mean, this is the gangrene, right?
One thing Winstead did say to me today, he said this could be the biggest test our offensive line has seen in now 5 games this year. This could be the toughest test they've seen. And I think he would echo that again right now.
And I think he would tell you that he has failed that test miserably.
Simmons looking to pick his way through, breaks one arm tackle. You saw the flag. It came in on the left of the screen as Simmons tried to do a little bit of everything himself, and Daly makes the stop.
He's not going to be happy to see that flag down 15 yards behind him. So they try to throw in a little wrinkle with the Wildcat. Snap directly to Simmons. Again, you see strong and shifty. But I think, if you look at adjustments with 1:44 left going into the half, I think that Goose Creek coaching staff has to start with their offensive line first. Put the defense in a tough situation from the get-go. First quarter, 4 possessions Summerville had inside Goose Creek territory. Can't keep asking your defense to keep him out of the pocket.
Now Moore wanted a deep ball, and is he in bounds is the question. Out of bounds.
Oof.
Michael Jenkins not able to stay in bounds, and it'll be 4th down and long, and another 3 and out for this Gators offense.
Oof. Boy, they're going to look at the replay tomorrow morning and go, wait a minute. Not unless that outside part, I think that looked clean. It was hard for us to see that kind of the outside edge of the foot. But once his foot came up, it looked like it was all green grass. With 1:37 left, I don't know if Goose Creek knows that we can't go up to the booth for a challenge on the replay. But the one thing I would say, the last couple of punts, Michael Jenkins has had a great run off of the corner. Has got close to blocking this. And I'm wondering if that's what they're talking about.
Because what you want to avoid if you're Goose Creek here is catastrophe. It's already bad enough.
So catastrophe would equal a snap through the end zone.
I think anything that results
in points,
in a special teams points for Summerville right here, yeah. Be it a safety or a block punt and a possession, you don't want to give Summerville points here or put them in position to score quickly.
The Goose Creek punt game has followed suit of the rest of the game tonight by the Gators. They need a booming punt here because with a minute 40, 137 left. Grant's at the 40-yard line. Gators 40.
Drake has not had many booming punts tonight. And he's had a couple chances. This is one of his better efforts, and he keeps it away from Christian Grant. But the Green Wave have it in Goose Creek territory yet again with a 20-0 lead and a minute and a half to play. They have one timeout at their disposal as well.
Yeah, I would say that is his best punt of the night, especially being standing in the end zone. The others came up good 10 yards short of where he is now. Summerville with one timeout left. Nothing more than Ian Rafferty would like is to tack some more points on the board.
McCurry with a deep drop, shuffles around and throws into double coverage. The last thing Ian Rafferty wants. That's an interception, and Goose Creek takes it back out to the 40. Jordan Turner, who's been playing some good ball in that secondary over the last few weeks, gives Goose Creek a little bit of life here with a minute 17 left in the half.
Surprised a little bit that this was the play call only because their run game has worked so well. With a minute 37 left on the clock, you could have run the ball 2 or 3 times. You still got a timeout and put yourself in a position. You didn't need jackpot on the first token you put in the machine.
A buddy who went to Vegas recently. Speaking of jackpots in machines, he found lots of those. Lots of those. 15 yards and a first down for the Gators. Kion Smith there.
Gators do have 2 timeouts left. I'm going to tell you, James Levine was standing a yard ahead of him. And all I'm thinking is if he pitches that ball backwards, if Levine's in the spot, that's 7.
Summerville gets to more. Looked like DeAndre Jones, number 9. It sure was. 255 pounds, second-year starter, the junior.
Every time Goose Creek looks like it got a little taste of momentum, they just spit it right out.
Summerville defensively was slow to get in position on the near side. The play flows away from it, and it's in the hands of Simmons, who's making things happen on his own. Simmons darts to the outside and gets a block, and he is shoved down and late. 2 flags come in. First and goal upcoming for Goose Creek.
Michael Jenkins. You see him coming on the left side. Wow, that's an awesome move. That's not a bad move there either. Oh, you know what? They're going to get a hold. I think they're going to be offsetting here. Looked like there was a hold at about the 20, and then the late hit, and that's why Jenkins was flexing because I think that's why there were 2 flags. If you go back and look at that highlight again, after he made that second move, which by the way kind of looked like it just broke our ankles watching.
Right there. Top of your screen.
Yep. So the hold on 8, and then the late hit on Jenkins. And you saw Simmons, right? You just saw the talent of Simmons. Somebody said, I asked him how does he run? They said shifty. He looks like he ice skates out there. I mean, really.
You also just saw this game in a nutshell. something good happens for Goose Creek and they're going the other way.
So they back him up, so the personal foul offsets the holding call?
It could be a dead ball because he's out of bounds when the hit is applied. So instead of farther down, you take the 10 yards back and then add the 15. So first down, cutting in. Goose Creek's got it down to the 2-yard line in number 2's hands, James Levine.
Now they're going to use one of their 2 timeouts. Listen, we're looking at an hour and a half first half.
True.
But the good news is, I think Goose Creek's figured this thing out. I think we're in store for an awesome second half.
I think when Goose Creek went to their hurry-up, they looked very different right there.
Different.
Very. So does that translate to the second half? Is there a rhythm in the second half? If the answer is yes, and they punch this in, then they're down 13, maybe 14, going into the half, get the ball right back, and we could have a one-score game on our hands.
Yep.
If your sense is right early on, midway through the third quarter.
Uninspired.
Confused.
For the first hour and 20 minutes. And that is in part, I think, because of the choice of play calling for Summerville on that drive when they had the ball with $1:37. Because at that point, to me, I'm not putting the ball back in their hands at all.
Best thing you can do to keep an offense as powerful down is not give them the ball. But they've got it. First and goal. A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes.
See if Summerville's defense could throw a little water on this fiery offense now.
Another low snap. Drew Moore away from Jones, extends, and he's in. Touchdown, Goose Creek. A Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college, as the junior extends just across the goal line.
A touchdown call a lot like this first half. It took a while. Moore with the ball in his right hand. Knee is down before he gets to the pylon. But they're going to give it a touchdown with 9 seconds left.
Unofficially 60 yards and 5 plays as Zach Drake has his extra point blocked.
Instead of focusing on the negative there, you go back to that touchdown run by Moore. Great penetration by Summerville line there. But Simmons picked up and laid out a great block on the backside for Moore. It was when Moore was getting ready to get out of the pocket. But, man, it was awesome. And that's what you want to see out of your stud running back, guy who does a little bit of everything.
Nine seconds left in the first half. Goose Creek points off the Summerville turnover. Goose Creek's turned it over twice. Summerville's interception on a deep ball thrown with less than 2 minutes to go and a 20-point lead comes back to bite the Green Wave.
By the way, when I see number 20 run out of the field for Summerville, who do you think of, Shelton? We just woke up David Shelton. When you see number 20 run out of the field for Summerville, who are you thinking about? Bernard Rambert?
You're going back before my time.
I know. Played at Clemson. Man, he was a great kid. Great running back.
Summerville will take this out across the 35. Probably will take a knee and get us to the Roper St. Francis Hospital halftime report.
You check with your buddy in Vegas. I'm going to go ahead and put a token on whether we get a flag in the last 3 seconds of the half.
I don't know. Is that more roulette I mean, are we just throwing like red and black here?
I don't know. It's a good thing we like each other, my friend.
We're going to spend some time together. I said it in an email to the whole group earlier today. Team no sleep. Couple hours sleep and see you at the Ravenel Bridge.
We keep rolling.
Summerville rolled. One mistake in the first half hurt the Green Wave. It led to Goose Creek's only touchdown and the best, most succinct, crisp drive of the first half for the Gators. And it's a 20-6 lead for the Green Wave. And a great performance on the ground for Ian Rafferty's club. And Rafferty is with our trooper Bob right now.
I'm here with Coach Rafferty here on the sidelines. Coach, you're able to block that extra point from Goose Creek. How happy are you with your team? You're up 20-6.
Yeah,
so
I'm
far.
pleased with the first half. It should be 35-0. You know, we shoot ourselves in the foot on offense and, you know, do something dumb down there and give them an interception and give them a chance to score. But I'm pleased. We came out. We got a good football team. When we play hard, do things right. We're tough.
Outside of the points, what do you want to see more of in the second half?
I just want to see us smarten up a little bit on offense. Defense, I have no complaints on defense. You know, we stoned them pretty much the whole first half. We got to quit doing dumb stuff on offense. If we quit doing that, I think we'll be good to go.
Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yes, sir. All right, well, there you have it, Dean. I'm going to tell you real quickly, that last play here with the flags on the sidelines,
yeah.
I mean, that coach, he was fired up. 2 plays later, he's still barking at the refs.
Still has the lead. 20-6. We'll get you back for our halftime report on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Thank you, Coach Honda, for all you do for Green Wave football. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to midfield for our 2020-2021 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Take it away.
Athletic Hall of Fame seeks to honor outstanding former Green Wave athletes and members of the Summerville community who made a significant impact on the Summerville High School athletic department. Annually, a committee of Green Wave coaches and members of the SHS Athletic Hall of Fame meet to select 5 inductees.
Halftime report brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. Each week, David Ayler Law Offices and Riders Law Group is proud to highlight a scholar athlete from each participating school. Students selected have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. And let's introduce you to tonight's scholar athletes. One of them you've already heard from. Told you. Dimitri Simmons. Not only does he have 12 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks combined, 6 in each game, although he doesn't have one here tonight, he also sports a 3.4 GPA. Congratulations to Dimitri Simmons, our Scholar Athlete of the Week from Goose Creek. On the Summerville side of things, it's Liza Blackwell. Her GPA is 5.3. I rounded up for you because it's more impressive than 5.276. In the community, she's National Honor Society. She got that as a sophomore. She's helped with the Charleston Air Force Base operation deployment, has also helped with local festivals and student council. Pretty much a well-rounded, very smart in the classroom student, Liza Blackwell. So Blackwell and Simmons both have the opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season, courtesy of David Ayler Law Offices and Riders Law Group. And for more on the Law Offices and Riders Law Group, David Ayler himself.
There is always something special about handing out a $5,000 scholarship check to a very deserving student athlete. David Ayler makes that possible. Why is it? I guess it's just that feeling it gives you down here.
You know, you're giving it to somebody who deserves it. In reality, everybody that puts their applications in deserves it. But it's just so impressive what they do inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and then, of course, on the field in various different sports.
What these kids are overcoming is really special. The last 2 to 3 years, I mean, they have had to overcome a whole lot more than student athletes before them. I guess it makes it even nicer to hand it to somebody that deserves it like that.
Yeah, they've experienced something as students that we never experienced, and they've all come through that, hoping this year will be smooth throughout, and they'll be able to enjoy themselves on the field and in the classroom.
They've also experienced something that I never did, getting A's on a report card. So
yeah, those GPAs, I don't even understand them. They're so high.
Yeah, David Ayler, presenting sponsor of our Scholar Athlete.
I'm glad David Ayler and Scott Eisberg agree with me. I don't understand GPAs over 5, and it's maybe because I never approached a GPA over 5. That's just jealousy. Jealousy coming from an announcer right there. Halftime, Summerville on top, 20-6. Goose Creek will get the ball to begin the third quarter. Halftime report brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. As we get you back to McKissick Field here for halftime, we remind you tonight's trophy is awarded by All-American Awards. For almost 30 years, All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant has been your local trophy shop, providing both corporate and sports awards to meet your style and budget. Visit Steve and his crew at All-American Awards. When you recognize excellence, you can find them on the web at Awards Guy. That's plural, awardsguy.com, and get yourself a mini Lombardi trophy like the same one that goes to the winners of Friday Night Rivals each and every Friday night. We reminded you in the first half, we'll remind you again in the second half, and we'll remind you again now. The 44th Cooper River Bridge Run tomorrow morning on ABC News 4. Live coverage starts at 6 p.m. Did you know 82,000 bottles of water could be used on the race route, however you'd like to call it. 82,000 bottles of water. That's a lot of water.
Considering you're calling it, you can call it whatever you want. Track, route, race.
Road, bridge. Coverage sponsored by Harris Teeter Benefit Focus, Zennios, and Vapor Apparel. More at the half from McKissick Field when we bring you back. Halftime report brought to you by Roper St. Francis Hospital, where experience matters. Gives us a chance at the half to take a look at some scores around the low country. Right now, Hanahan has a 4-touchdown lead on Porter Gowd and is shutting them out at the same time. Cane Bay and Ashley Ridge, I remember a time when those were the two new schools in town. They're tied at 3. I don't even remember how many years ago that was. It's got to be like 10, 12.
Easily.
Something in that range. They're tied at 3.
Fort Dorchester down 21-10 right now to Myrtle Beach. That game is at the half. Timberland over Chesney. The Kennys 1 point shy of the Wolves.
Probably the toughest test Fort Dorchester will see this year outside of that Dorman game that we had, even though Dorman was a little overmatched in that one. Wasn't exactly full strength. But on the road, a tough test for Fort Dorchester. They're trailing 21-10 at the half.
I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't put it past. I think the Summerville-Fort Dorchester game, Summerville continues what we've seen tonight. It'll be an excellent game.
If what we're seeing has as much to do with Summerville's defensive line as just a lack of crispness on the Goose Creek side, I agree. If that is a fact, then I would agree. Working our way towards the start of the third quarter of your QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals game, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, where the Green Wave lead it 20-6. A lengthy halftime here at Summerville, honoring some former Green Wave athletes.
Yeah, these are new Hall of Fame members. We've learned a lot. There's a gentleman down there, played baseball here back in the 70s, who is a 5-time Letterman playing baseball, freshman or 8th grade year all the way up to his senior year. 2010 graduate, ran track at Pittsburgh and was in the Olympics in 2016.
Wonder if she's running tomorrow.
Where's Iceberg when we need him?
I don't know. Probably running around chasing down some highlights. A couple more scores to pass along. Wando's up on Stall 21-0. North Charleston trailing James Island 18-10.
This young man you see in your screen at the 40 to the 45 going to the midfield. He's run a series of sprints. It's been a great night here in Summerville.
It's nice to have sprints on this field. The benefit of this turf, by the way,
yeah,
it is the first home game for the Green Wave this year. First time on this turf. All week, right, it's been pouring, at least the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Just deluge. Summerville has been able to come over here and practice. So they haven't had to use their practice field,
which is at the
in
school.
Mud. That's right. They've been able to come over here and practice. If it was the same field, I don't know if they would have been able to do that. They probably would have torn that field apart.
I would agree with you.
So they probably would have had to find some type of alternate option if this turf wasn't around. Maybe that's one of the benefits Summerville had in the first half. The fact that they were able to get out there on a turf.
Hey, I got breaking news. Iceberg just texted me. Carvin Inada, he ran for Kenya. Many stories with him. Hop Henderson also inducted, he said.
Look, if it's an athlete from the Low Country.
Within the last 20 years, you think?
Yeah, then Iceberg has many stories with or about that athlete. That's an almost virtual lock.
Yeah.
I mean, no one does it better. No one finds more stories that you just can't find than Iceberg. You can find Iceberg if you're looking for him.
Yeah.
And Natalie Spalla tonight at 11 on ABC News 4.
Yeah.
QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals. They'll have highlights of this one. And they'll have highlights of that Wando Stall game. And they'll have highlights of all the games around the Low Country.
And you know where else you can find Iceberg? In about 9 hours. He'll be downtown covering the bridge run. Now, Iceberg gets a bad assignment. I get a good assignment, right? I get the 6 a.m. start line.
Yes.
He's got to be at the finish line downtown at 6 a.m. But the finish line, that shift is a little longer.
Yeah, and it doesn't start, so he's sitting there waiting.
Right. Oh, we'll go to him. Trust me, we'll go to him. Okay. We have a couple hours to burn before the gun is fired. And I will not feel guilty that I will be at home back in my jammies while he's finishing up our bridge run coverage at 11 a.m.
I'm still unclear about where I'll be at 11 a.m. I might be helping Iceberg at that point. No panic here. This was intentional. The lights went out. This is intentional. They're going to use their fancy new lights and do fun things.
Dance fever.
So I know I'll be in a Pace car or truck.
I think you're in a truck.
Okay. I don't know if it's covered or not, but
it's
it should be a beautiful
day.
Okay. Gorgeous day.
So you're going to need some sunscreen, preferably SPF 50.
Okay, I can do that.
You can probably wear a hat. I've got a Channel 4 hat for you if you'd like that.
You don't like the curls?
I'm just a little bit worried about your 5 head getting too sunburned.
It's a worry because it's almost like a 6 head by this point. so that is a real concern. So we do that, and then I get to the finish line, and maybe I help Scott. Maybe I bail on Scott.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to it, though. I've lived down here since 2002.
Have you ever run it or walked it?
I've been at it once.
Okay.
So I'm back doing healthy things again. Running 6 miles or walking it is not on the list of things I want to do. But Trooper Bob is very good at that, and he is also with Jason Winstead.
Right. Coach, 20-6. What did you tell your team at halftime to keep their spirits up for the second half?
Just take a deep breath. We hadn't played a lot of good football this in the first half. We made a lot of mistakes, and just start over. We get the ball to start the half and see what we can do.
Well, we got a lot of time left. What would you like to see more of in the second half?
Just less mistakes. I mean, we've been off sides, we've held, we clipped, we've done everything we could possibly do wrong. So we just got to clean it up and hope we play better in the second half.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. Thank you for your time. Well, there you have it, Dean.
Trooper Bob, while I got you, let me quick question. Have you ever done an interview like in a disco? Because that's what it seemed like down there. Oh, turnover, Trooper Bob.
There you go. This is the first stadium I've been in where they actually worked the lights. The first game at the Wando game, the lights just went out.
Yeah.
And then they went out last week, too. You missed that one.
Yeah,
Trooper Bob, thanks.
You're welcome.
You know, I've covered this race since 1991 on the old bridge, the 2-lane bridge.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome just to watch because the bridge would move under your feet.
Yeah, that's what made it scary for me to drive over.
Yeah. We had some of my favorite bridge run memories. I'm just preparing for tomorrow. My scriptage, I have 2 hours to blow.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much time, and I'll steal some of your stuff, keep going.
The year Oprah ran.
Oh, really?
Yep. So we were on the hunt for Oprah. And we actually did. One of our cameras caught her running down Coleman. I don't remember the name, but she had registered a hotel under like a famous fictional character in a book.
Okay.
Francesca, maybe. That was big.
Yeah.
The year.
Was she running or walking?
No, she ran it.
Okay.
The year Murray and Vec ran it was hilarious. And I will tell you, it was the best Bill Murray that I've ever seen. He had walked up on the scaffolding. And that's something that you'll do that tomorrow because you're going to be at the start line. You just got to get up on the scaffolding and look down Coleman at all the runners, 25,000, right? A little more impressive when it's 40, but you won't be able to see the end of you can't see the last runner.
I won't be able to tell the difference between 25 and 40 at that point.
Yes, you will. Of course you will. And Murray gets up there with a microphone and just goes for like 10, 12 minutes, straight comedy, man. It was hilarious. And then I had my bike and a little mini cam, and so I followed Vec and Murray. That's Mike Vec.
Yes.
And followed them as we ran down Coleman to the bridge, because my thought was I'm gonna go the entire race on my bike. And then I got to the bridge, and the law enforcement officer put an abrupt stop to my story idea.
It's a shame when, rules get in the way of stories.
Nick, do you have that picture ready to go? And then there was the year that I ran it. I'll show you a picture coming up.
Looking forward to that as well.
People say, have you run the bridge run? I said, yes, once. And they said, why once? I go, because I did it once. I didn't need to do it twice.
So am I correct in assuming the picture will be a finish line?
Yes.
I'm not in great shape picture?
No, I was in shape.
I wasn't saying not in shape. I'm like the end of the race.
Yes.
You're struggling, not in shape.
I'm not. I wasn't. I was.
So it's like victory.
Yes.
It was like Rocky.
Yes.
Yes.
See, now if you don't want to hang out for the football game, you got to wait for the picture. Let's play some football, shall we?
Last time Goose Creek had it, they capitalized on a late Summerville interception. They went 60 yards in the blink of an eye, and those are their 6 points. This is their most electrifying player, Dimitri Simmons. He never really got on track in the first half, and he's been frustrated for a large portion of that half.
Boy, I tell you what, Summerville lucky they didn't get a taunting flag. Would have been a horrible way to go. But we're so impressed with Simmons. Just his composure out there, because we saw the frustration, right? But you've not seen him lose his cool at all.
I think composure is a very good word to keep in mind as we look at this offense now, because in the first half, fair to say they lost it. A low snap, that was a consistent theme. A ball a little bit behind Kion Smith into the third level where he's wrapped up by Woodfield. A gain of 11 will move the chains for the Gators.
And they start just like they started their first possession at the beginning of this ball game, throwing it. but they found that success at the end of the second quarter. And they go hurry up.
This is where they looked like they were at their best. Here's Simmons in the middle of that line. DeAndre Jones, number 9. Told you we'd hear a lot of them. 1-yard run into the arms of Jones.
9-on-9 crime. Did a nice job stopping him before he was able to break containment.
DeAndre led the Low Country in sacks last year. He had over 70 total tackles, and in 2 games coming in, he had 14. Slow developing play with that long throw. Levine then runs over to Rebell, and it'll be 3rd down. He stepped out of bounds about 3 yards short.
Ran the same play in the first quarter, worked equally as successful. Maybe if not for a little bit more yardage.
No flags. Jayden Johnson wants that flag, but the complaining now won't help him. And now a flag, and this is probably on Goose Creek.
On the center.
Reading the lips, it was 61, which would be Matthew Nix, the right tackle. Trooper Bob just spoke with Jason Winstead. A very unhappy Winstead who talked about the mistakes and the mental errors. 3rd and 3 is now 3rd and 8. Quick play action off the hands of Levine.
Throw a little bit high.
And you wonder what the play call was on 3rd and 3 and how that 5-yard penalty affected that 3rd down play.
I would say it was the same play. Summerville's done such a nice job jamming up the line, not allowing Simmons to get any yardage, positive, big runs. Had more success throwing the ball towards the end of the second quarter and the first play here.
Look out off the edge. Michael Jenkins almost got there for, I don't know, the 3rd or 4th time tonight.
Yep.
About a 30-yard kick, and Summerville will begin from its own 35-yard line. Their first possession here of the second half. So if you thought Goose Creek found something, found a little rhythm at the end of that half, the half was then pretty long.
It was.
Because of the Hall of Fame honorees for Summerville.
I like your theory, but now Summerville's going to put it to a test and see how they react.
Spells, one of 4 guys to carry the ball in the opening half. Kind of tumbles over Addison a little after the play, 2 yards.
I would assume, and I would bet, greater than an assumption, that Goose Creek line and their middle linebackers were challenged at the half because they lost the battle in the first and second quarter.
McCurry puts it in the air and almost put it in the hands of Goose Creek. That went off the fingers of Ramley. I would think you're right about them being challenged because the reason Summerville had success, and Rafferty said it's a Trooper Bob going into the half, should be about 35 points on the board.
Should be 35-0, he said.
The reason they had the success they had was running between the tackles. On 3rd down, here's Yannick Smith. He had a touchdown in the first half, and he's got a 1st down here to continue this drive. A Miller Mott College 1st down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports.
Nice throw by McCurry. That was his look from the get-go. Zipped it to the outside, enough for the 1st down.
There's been room for McCurry through the air on the shorter routes. When he's gone a little longer, that's where he's tried to fit it into traffic. Through the traffic goes Spells, but there's less there on a couple of tries in this half than compared to what we saw in the first. up from the bottom of the pile. Looks like it was Liza Johnson, 24, who held that to a 1-yard gain.
Whatever adjustment they made has worked. The first 24 minutes of the game, they were gashing yards, big yards, through that defense.
Ten seconds on the play clock. McCurry rips this one away, has one to beat on the edge and did it. Now can he get the sideline? You bet. And it's a first down run for Campbell McCurry, who's hobbling a little bit after a pickup of about 12.
Great play call. You've got a pulling tackle to the opposite way. McCurry then makes the RPO and then takes it himself. A nice block on the outside by the Summerville wide receiver. That was Chris McDonald. That's big number Reggie Pinckney, 6'2", 300-pound junior, acting as a decoy.
McCurry not only stays in there, he throws quickly. And Smith gets a block on the edge by Chris McDonald to spring him for
about 10.
Well, almost 10. Yeah, it'll be close. Might be about 9.
I mean, they found something on that outside. And that's from the far hash, throwing it all the way back over. Summerville winning the numbers game on the outside. That shouldn't happen.
2 plays to go. It was a Miller Mock College first down, proudly supporting the Low Country's high school sports. Summerville looking for another one here, and it's Trey Green who's in the backfield. Wenzel, the motion man. They did give him the first down, in fact, so that was 1st and 10 and a pickup of 2.
And again, we saw Grant early on picking up big yardage, picking up just 2 there.
Here's Grant once again, runs right into the arms of a Goose Creek defender.
Now Summerville's playing a little giddy up.
Kavarian Brown, that defender.
The faster they call these plays doesn't necessarily mean the faster the clock goes, unfortunately.
They're varying the speeds at which they're taking the snap. They're getting the calls in, I think, at the same rate, and then changing tempo, trying to keep Goose Creek off balance a bit. This is Trey Green, untouched through the line, then dragging a gator for a couple more yards. Ben Marabella on the stop.
You talk about a change of pace.
That flag?
Get a hold. Yeah. Change of pace so far. First flag. 4 minutes in.
I wasn't trying to keep track of the flags in the first half. I also did not keep track of the flags in the first half. But there were probably 10, 20.
I would say more in the neighborhood of 10. You look at 34, Trey Green, that's 5'10", 205. A little bit more power. Low center of gravity, where you have Grant, a little speedy back, as well as Smalls.
McCurry to Smith, and this time Smith drops it. It's one of the few times Smith has had an opportunity to make a play, and he didn't.
Spells, not Smalls. They want a field goal. Crowd's calling for field goal.
Gage Lewis missed a short one.
Now that was the coaching staff screaming for field goal. It's going to be a 50-yarder.
Yeah, he missed a 34-yarder.
When was the last time we had one of these?
Well, I can tell you from the veritable source that Twitter is that he's got the leg to make this. I've seen it on Twitter. And Lewis got under it and didn't get it. Might have pushed it a little bit as well.
I mean, if he got under it, but I mean, that thing cleared the shrubs, cleared the fencing.
Still didn't look like he hit it cleanly.
Twitter never lies.
Gage Lewis has hit the upright and missed a little right in a couple of attempts. One from 34, one from 50. And Summerville keeps the lead it had at the half, 20-6, about 5 minutes into this third quarter with Dean Stevens and Darren Goldwater. Green Wave's defense dominated that first half. Goose Creek helped it at times and then did so again on the first possession of this half, when Goose Creek picked up a first down and then had a penalty that made third and short, third and long, and one play later punted again. We came into the night eager to see Dimitri Simmons. He's averaging 220 yards a game in 4 games.
Yep.
892 yards, 8 yards a carry, 14 rushing touchdowns in 4 games. And I don't have the stats on him tonight, but I'd say he's well under 50 yards. Maybe in the 30-yard range.
I would make a bet that the Goose Creek offense doesn't have 125 yards total offense.
Oh, no. They had 60 on that touchdown drive, and other than that, there was one drive that they moved the ball somewhat. So 2 yards for Simmons, back-to-back carries. We haven't seen that a lot for Simmons, and he's wrapped at the ankles by Steve Simpkins Jr., the outside linebacker. The body language in that offensive line, that's been consistent.
Yep.
Shoulder slumped a little. Third and long.
Pressure coming from the edges.
Simpkins forces him into Jones, and he escapes that. On the move, it's dropped. Put it right in the chest of one of the best receivers in the area, Kion Smith. And it'll be 4th down and 8.
Simmons coming up, limping a little bit. Again, had a nice block to allow his quarterback to get out and deliver that ball. But if Coach Winstead preached consistency and wanted to see a clean third quarter, he hasn't seen it. I mean, that was a chain mover. That was a first down.
And the last drive had a 3rd and 3 turn into a 3rd and 8. That hits the foot of Yannick Smith. There's a flag down as well as Goose Creek recovers. Couple things to unfold here.
You want to roll? You got 2 flags over here on the near side at about the 31 and the 32-yard line. Maybe it's the same. Maybe you have a holding on this side of the field. Maybe a push in the back at the top of the field near where the ball hit the Summerville player. You know, the great thing is, Darren, both of our cars are very comfortable to sit in, and we may go straight to the start line and just sleep there.
I'd be lying if I said it hasn't crossed my mind already.
Back in the day, there was an Alex's Restaurant where Page's Okra Grill is, and that was open all night.
Pages.
No, I'm going to suggest you only hydrate tonight. No eating tomorrow. Be a long ride in the back of that truck.
Don't worry.
The official's coming over to talk to Ian Rafferty on the other side. Jason Winstead's got 2 officials in his ear. I'm not sure which one has the call about which flag do you want to take.
The only thing that will drive Winstead crazy is if he does not get the football. A lot of things could happen that he'll accept here.
He doesn't look like he's very accepting right there. We go back to that shot at 50. That's not the pose of an accepting man. All right. He did say. It looked like Ian had the call of what he wanted to do. I think so. Summerville's defense is out on the field.
Yes. Still less than pleased.
Not any clear on what exactly is happening.
I mean, that's a caption this, just waiting to happen. And we'll see if we can decipher this from Buskowski.
There's your hold.
Uh-huh.
There's your push in the back.
Uh-huh.
Offset. And we're going to replay it. Oh, we got a personal foul
on Goose Creek.
So
right.
That means you back up the spot.
Right. So you offset the penalties, then you've got the personal foul, which backs them up 15 yards, and you replay the punting down from 15 yards further back. That helps explain the looks, plural, from Jason Winstead.
So I'm going to assume the hold was on maybe the gunner on the Summerville sidelines, pushing the back by where the scrum was.
And Goose Creek needs to run a player out on the field here.
Well, we still have 13 seconds left.
Keep an eye on Michael Jenkins. Although he's not close to the line, he's not rushing this time. Also, Yannick Smith is not back this time. That's Christian Grant, who lets that roll to about the 45.
I got to tell you, the rebound player of the game has been the Goose Creek punter, because his first couple of punts.
Yep.
But he has responded his last couple with a, I mean, he is.
That was about a 45-yarder right there.
Standing in the goal.
Yep.
The goal line. Good for him.
And his guys haven't helped him. His guys have put him in tough spots. Speaking of a tough spot, Goose Creek's defense has been in it a lot tonight. Summerville's been playing with a short field most of the night.
Going to be asked for another stop here.
And the inside of that defense is ready. That's at the line of scrimmage on the carry from Spells.
So they fixed their run defense at the point of contact, the line of scrimmage. Now, what they've typically done here after a stop is McCurry has taken it on the near sidelines here, looking for Yannick Smith. And there it is again.
Mm-hmm. McDonald there to apply the block. Smith drags the defender for a couple yards. That's Jordan Turner. He's within a yard of the chains on third down.
Singletary's got to be quicker on his decision. So they swing a blocker out. Singletary's got to engage quicker to get there, and he's got to get help faster on the weak side. And that's with Isaiah Addison.
I go back to what Rafferty told me today about last week against Berkeley. He said we had 4 or 5 plays that we really liked, and we ran them over and over again, both passing and running. We've seen a few plays run over and over again here. And Goose Creek's defense again, Trey Green, stifled at the line. As emotions start to kind of bubble up.
Kavarion Brown.
I think that's the first 3 and out for Summerville. It is.
Goose Creek
needs to call a timeout because their guys didn't get off the field fast enough. You could hear it in the mics. You could hear the get off the field holler. And that was at least 3 Gator players slow to get off the field.
Winstead's hat has come off, and I don't know if that's when, like with Spurrier when he took the visor off. But he was pointing, he's pointing at the clock. I think he's going to get an explanation here. He's going to want, I think he wants clarification if that 25-second clock was too quick.
Tomorrow we've talked about it, and we'll keep telling you. Hey, yeah, by the way, I love the graphic. Cooper River Bridge Run, I do. It's very fall, spring, festive, bright. All of those things. Hey now, look at that Texas fan. number 17,416.
And now look at 17,417.
Oh, look at that.
That was your play-by-play guy from last week.
Or the analyst.
Or your partner in crime. So we ran that thing.
How old was Jack there?
That looked like he was probably 10. So 14 years ago.
So Jack is now a foot taller than I am.
Yeah. And, yeah, sure enough. Yeah. But it was a good day.
That looked like a good day.
Yep. We would run a mile and walk about a half mile, and we'd run a mile, and it was good.
That looked like a good day. High snap, Gage Lewis doesn't pick it up. Goose Creek does. The break the Gators need. Possibly in a game that can turn in an instant. It's only, even though it feels like more, a 14-point game.
Looked like Gage was going to have a chance to pick it up and punt it, and then lost his footing. Again, the turf is nice, but it's slick. And now Goose Creek wants to go fast.
Best starting field position the Gators have had by a long shot, and they're going to lose yards immediately. Went Wildcat and go back 8 yards.
They lose 7. None of this makes sense. You have an experienced center struggling with the snap.
Fake the reverse. Here's Moore. Here's DeAndre Jones and Carnell Jones, and a completion to James Levine. That was a lot of work to get back what was lost on the fumble.
I'm going to ask you a question here. He wanted to go back across the grain, didn't have it. Good peace of mind to find Levine. I'm going to throw this out there, right? This turf is slick.
Okay.
Is that affecting the way Jayden Johnson's snapping the ball?
Maybe. That's a long throw. It's been a favorite throw of Moore. And Kion Smith isn't getting away from Michael Jenkins.
I think he got a favorable spot. I mean, he was trying to get away, and he kept going backwards. They are going to spot it as forward progress. And I think here, Goose Creek's going to have to go for it. They're going to call their second timeout in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, they called it right before the punt.
Oh, actually, a player's down. Sorry. Right, so I'm wondering if that's affected the way the result of his snaps, because it's been consistently low skirting on the ground.
And is a good player. Jayden Johnson is a 4-year starter. He was all region last year.
Yep.
He's already committed to Howard, and I pointed this out before. He could have gone other places. He elected to commit to the HBCU.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. There's been no adjustment either. So I don't know if it's the turf. I can't even begin to speculate. Could be the defensive line, giving him something to think about. Could be any number of things. Michael Woodfield is the one who is slowly walking off the field for Summerville.
Woodfield with the interception last week against Berkeley that led to the 21-point lead. Now Moore back on the field.
4th and 5. Simmons at the moment is in the slot. Moore under pressure, and down he goes. Summerville gets to him. It's Carnell Jones.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Moore's head hit that turf extremely hard, and he is not stable on his feet.
He is being helped off the field, stabilized as he walks off.
Huge stop by Summerville after the gaff on the punt.
Scoreless third quarter to this point. Summerville led this game 20-0 at one point.
Goose Creek's offense asking a lot of the Goose Creek defense.
Which is ironic because coming into the game, it was the offense that was firing on every cylinder and the defense that had a lot of question marks.
Now, Goose Creek crashing their corners, filling the gaps.
Whoa, Summerville jumps. I beg your pardon, Goose Creek.
Isaiah Addison injured his left hand on the last play. Doing his best to shake it off or shake some feeling into that.
That should be a first down. There they go. They got it. Penalty gives them the first down. Miller Mott College presents it, supporting the Low Country's high school sports. I think Summerville's offense has been at its best tonight when they've taken their time and used a lot of time off the play clock. Here's Christian Grant bouncing off his right guard. And he's got 3 before he's swallowed up.
I think Summerville is in a prime position right now to run a play action, crash that fake handoff because it's opening up everything behind the linebackers.
Got a lot of guys pinned down there in that front 7, and they get to the ball carrier here. It's Isaiah Addison again. It'll be a loss of about a yard and 3rd and long.
The referee was exchanging the balls with the ball boy. Didn't see him coming as fast. Darn near took his head off. Let's see what happens here.
The umpire made him hold off. It looked like McCurry wanted the ball a little quicker. Goose Creek may have jumped. They did. Tamarian Ravenel jumped on the top of that line. 3rd and 9 becomes 3rd and 4 for the Green Wave.
Bit more manageable. Gives Rafferty something to think about, but his run game in the 3rd quarter been non-existent. Now we'll see if they go the top of the screen. They've been running that little quick pass to the wide receiver to Smith. They've got it set up at the top of the screen. Let's see if they go up top and do it here.
Grant fumbles it. McCurry falls on it. Kavarian Brown was right there as well. That'll be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Unless Summerville elects to punt before the quarter runs out.
I think Ian Rafferty and Jason Woodstead could get together tonight at a community gathering spot and have a refreshing beverage and commiserate together, right?
One of them's going to come away with a win, which will make a lot of the problems feel better.
I think they're equally as frustrated.
I agree. There's a lot of frustration to be had on McKissick Field tonight. 3 quarters are also in the books. Summerville trying to knock off a team that's won 3 straight, averaging more than 50 points a game in the process, and they've held them to 6 in 36 minutes. A QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruise Chevrolet.
Look for the thing that's bright in the sky.
Not the sun.
That's a light post. We're talking about the light post.
So, at some point soon, there will be a very cool picture on your screen of the moon. It's an orangey hue, and it is not quite visible yet. I can see it through some branches.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion that goes on behind the scenes when we're at break. Darren Goldwater, Dean Stevens, your QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, heads to the fourth quarter. Goose Creek still in search of any type of rhythm and any type of consistency, but they're down 14 points, and last week they had 28 points in the second quarter and 27 points in the third quarter.
Yep.
And there is no reason to believe that this game is out of reach or close to over.
Well, Simmons has the ability to bust one. We've seen that. But the problem is getting the ball into his hands to begin with, and then clearing the first line of defenders has been a second problem. Maybe it's going to be a special teams touchdown that sparks the Gators.
Here's Gage Lewis. This is a good one. Good hang time. Drifts him back a bit. And here comes Morian Scott. And Scott is caught from behind. Nice job on the special teams play by Javen Winter.
Great job.
I also think this is my favorite name that I have seen just in writing so far this year.
What you got?
Jayvyn Winter, Wynter. That's a lot of Y's.
Oh, by the way, a flag's down.
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's what happens in this game.
I missed it. Looked like there was something going on out of bounds. That's where another flag is. I'm not sure I've seen a flag. Late hit.
David Shelton, who's up here, you can read about this game.
Foul.
Yep, tomorrow in the Post and Courier. He saw it. It's a late hit, personal foul. Another one on Goose Creek. The last time they had it, a personal foul took the ball away from them. Well,
right.
It was offsetting penalties, and then the personal foul. And then they punted from deeper in their own end. Now they'll start from deeper in their own end because of another 15-yarder.
I would say that if you are driving out of Summerville today and you see about 40 young men in black pants and white shirts walking down the interstate, don't notify police. I think it's just going to be Coach Winstead making his guys
walk home.
Making it the long walk home.
Jacob,
unless they can figure something out in the last 11:45.
The guy who jumped is probably going to be a very, very good one for Summerville in the years to come. He's a freshman who starts at nose guard. Jacob Cotterill. And another low snap. Moore has time to pick it up and scamper and fire deep. There's the flag. It comes from 25 yards behind the play, and it will go against Michael Jenkins.
I'm not 100% sure that he wasn't past. I think he was past the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball. The spot was a 19-yard line. But that's okay. Let's play on, boys.
Goose Creek will tell you they deserve a break. Maybe they got one. It's a 15-yarder in high school, not the spot of the foul, so they're up to close to the 35. Here's Simmons now, unable to really get free, and part of the reason is tackling. Just sound tackling. Chris Brabham is right there.
There's
a flag,
two flags.
There's another flag.
We got Chippy.
It's been getting to that point. That's why these personal fouls have happened. We've seen some jawing, obvious frustration.
And that's 21 Seabrook. He was face mask to face mask with a couple guys over there. Now he's just getting a little lesson.
Only one. That is not offsetting. It is against Summerville and 15 more yards for the Gators. Both of these teams, as often penalized as this game has been, neither can afford big penalties right now.
And that was a big one.
Huge. 2 of them. Great announcement, public address. The penalties apparently were all against the Green Wave. Here's Simmons now looking to capitalize on this momentum.
It's our player to watch. We talked about him a few hours ago. Xavier Mitchell-Brown, 10 on 9.
He's got a pick today. Second down and 7. Simmons stretches and cuts it downfield for a gain of 1.5 yards, maybe 2.
On the bottom of that pile is the freshman you were talking about, Cotterill, 6'3", 270.
I mean, that's the frame. For a freshman?
Yeah.
You just project out a little bit and like, oh yeah, we could probably put some weight on.
Probably going to grow a couple more inches.
3rd down and 5 for Goose Creek. Dimitri Simmons has been our player to watch. He just hasn't been able to light up the stat sheet and the scoreboard like he has been the last few weeks. He'll try again. Carnell Jones, DeAndre Jones, Xavier Mitchell-Brown. Who else you want to name? Chris Brabham. They're all there to swarm Simmons.
Green Wave just done a nice job of containing the lanes. Everybody holds their lane, and then the pursuit. DeAndre Jones, first guy there.
Goose Creek has to go for it on 4th down. They need 5. And it's Simmons through the middle. Gashing run for Simmons for the first time. And to say a gashing run for Simmons, and he gets 14 yards, he's averaging 8 a clip coming in. But that's the type of night it's been.
Another flag comes in late. You had Jayden Johnson pancaking Cotterill. It's going to be behind the play. I'm sorry. I didn't have that much hair on my face when I was 35.
He looks like he's in a good bit of pain, too. I still don't, by the way.
If this goes against Goose Creek, Jason Woodstead's going to eat his hat. Raw. Not fried, not sauteed.
I don't know which way it would be better.
Fried.
Okay, I mean, everything is.
This is bad because they're just going to start walking towards the moon.
Come on, watch this. I bet we're going to be on the shoot.
Was that a dead ball after the first down?
It appeared that way to me, but
and that's where
the down marker still says 4. There we got to switch. It is, so yes, first down, back them up 15 yards because of the penalty to the 41.
It came right in the area where Jayden Johnson was on top of Cotterill.
Mm-hmm. And then Cotterill needed help afterwards, coming off the field.
Lost his helmet. Maybe it was that.
So back to the 41 for Moore and company. Hit as he throws this one, but he throws a strike. Touchdown Gators.
Moore is down. Back at the 50-yard line. And you're going to have a personal foul roughing the passer. He got high load, but he put the ball right on the money.
Kion Smith's Trident Technical College touchdown. Your future, your college.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jason Winstead's having a conversation out on the field with the official. He didn't like the hit. And as chippy as we've seen it, And it starts to escalate a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember back earlier in this quarter when his head hit the turf pretty hard.
I didn't think there was much egregious about that. I mean, the pocket was kind of collapsing around him. There could have been an arm that hit him up high. But at this point in the game, anything close has to be flagged. Anything close. Because we've gotten to that level of frustration and chippiness.
Right.
And there's the call. Roughing the passer. And there is also a penalty on Goose Creek.
So they offset. Remember the good old days when the refs were mic'd?
It was a lengthy series of signals, and I did not catch all of them. The touchdown clearly stands, as does the extra point, and it's a 7-point game with 9:18 to go. That's the end result of all of it. A 41-yard strike to Kion Smith, his 8th touchdown of the year, and we've got a one-score game on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. We think, well, we haven't really sorted it out. We have some idea of what happened with all of those calls at the end. Roughing the passer stood, touchdown stands, offsetting personal fouls, following the play, following the touchdown. That was the lengthy series of signs. So the penalty that is being assessed on the kickoff here is because of the roughing the passer on the touchdown strike. So Goose Creek will kick off from the Summerville 45. And you know what?
What you got?
I'll just throw this out there for you. It's not the worst time to go for an onside kick.
No.
Cooper River Bridge Run tomorrow morning. Live coverage. ABC News 4. Begins at 6 o'clock in the morning. Dean and I will both be there. Probably a lot of people on this crew, not just us.
Oh, this is our guy.
Yeah. Oh, Nick Case.
Nick wanted to make sure we knew he was in teal because we confused him with the guy in the yellow shirt or the guy in the back that's really in shape with the glasses on the left. No.
Big props for
when was this, Nick Case?
Big props for using the Do Not Copy Island Photography branded all over on a broadcast unassociated with them.
By the way, onside kick didn't happen. Good times.
So that's tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And the final 9 minutes of this game. Because quite honestly, it's hard to even throw a idea of a prediction of what could happen here.
You know what would be awesome tonight? Overtime.
12 overtimes. That takes sleep out of the equation for us.
Correct.
David Shelton's ready to just leave us both behind. Marquez Spells picks up 10, maybe 12. That's moving the chains for Summerville. A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes.
Summerville running backs running hard.
Yes, all night.
First big game of the second half for the running game.
McCurry gets the call after surveying the defense. First down and 10. Spells again. Picks up a yard. Marabella, 35, was the first one to apply the hit. Summerville led this game 20-0. This is, in some ways, because of the score, similar to last week. 21-0 lead. Then have to hold off Stratford.
On the right side of that line, you have about 800 pounds of beef over there with your right tackle, right guard, and the H-back. And that's where they go.
Where they're going, but Spells is spelled in the backfield. Isaiah Addison has been having a great game. Some of these linebackers we've called a lot. Addison, Brown, Marabella.
They've just become a little bit more aggressive here in the second half.
They gave him forward progress to the line of scrimmage at the 32.
It's like they're taking the contact to them. They're not waiting for it to, meet them 3 or 4 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Summerville snaps it with 12 on the play clock. McCurry misfires badly. McCutcheon was the only guy in the area.
I don't know if McCurry read the route wrong, but McCutcheon made his cut about 5 yards down the field too late.
So a 3 and out for Summerville here.
Band's still here. As long as the band's still here, we're good.
Moon's up.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Other than, I guess it's better than the moon not being there. Goose Creek sets up the return and still finds pressure on Gage Lewis. Not the best from Lewis. It's out of bounds at the 40. It's only about a 28-yard punt. This was 20-6 entering the fourth quarter. It was 20-6 entering half.
Feels like the winds of change have changed.
Yes.
And let me tell you something. That Drew Moore's a tough kid, man. He's taken a couple pretty good shots tonight.
Back to their horse, Dimitri Simmons.
Really nice job by Maurian Scott with the block from the wide receiver position, allowing him to pick up the short gain. Keyshawn Seabrook, the outside linebacker, crashed in the middle there.
Simmons was the first option out of the backfield. Low for Maurian Scott. 3rd down and 7.
I think Simmons wanted that ball the top of your screen. He had flared out from the backfield. But if you can find space for him to get into.
Summerville showed pressure up the middle. Not a whole lot over the top right now for Summerville, for these big receivers. But there's pressure on the quarterback, and down goes Moore. DeAndre Jones, the first to get in there. Chris McKnight helped him out, and Goose Creek has to punt.
They showed pressure early on, bringing their linebackers in on that first down call, and they bring them back again.
Summerville will have a chance to put this game away if they can secure possession here.
Need a good punt here.
Well, that's not how you start a good punt. Somehow Zach Drake gets something off and then gets a roll out of it. That's a lot better than what it could have been. Summerville with a 7-point lead will start at its 46. They almost started inside of the Goose Creek 20. How about a Crew Chevrolet drive of the game? You got a friend in the car business, and it's going to be the interception there from Xavier Mitchell-Brown. And a run here from Trey Green. And eventually, this is the play of the game. The fumble, the scoop, the score running all around the field and your TV screen. Crew Chevrolet drive of the game. You've got a friend in the car business.
Campbell McCurry, quarterback keeper, sprints out to the right side for about 7 yards. I would say I'd be surprised if they put this ball in the air at all, but nothing surprises me.
You're right. I'm right there with you. Harrison Weston got in, backup quarterback. He played a couple of snaps. It's largely been McCurry's game. And he's managed it okay. Christian Grant gets hit up high. There are no flags. He's running backwards. His forward progress lost long ago. And it will now be at the 43-yard line. Lost about 10.
Boy, he felt like he was just inches away from getting away. From there, I got it again. Great pursuit by the white jerseys.
Kavarian Brown eventually puts him down.
Are you throwing it now? They've not gone to that little throw to the outside.
Can make the case that the late throw in the first half that was intercepted changed the game. They keep it on the ground here. One broken tackle, another one. Grant's third effort picks up the first down, and the Green Wave run it on 3rd and 13, pick up 15 yards with less than 5 minutes to go.
And how about them going back to Grant after he loses 10, but he had the effort. And they give it back to him.
This is fitting. That first down is brought to you by A&I Fire and Water Restoration, making your house home again after disaster strikes. Disaster strikes, first down, new home. My brain works in funny ways. Christian Grant was hit pretty quickly there as he made his way through by Ravenel, but still pushed forward for about 3. Grant was not the starter. He was the assumed number 1 heading into the season, but Spells was the number 1 tonight. He's run well. Spells has run well. Trey Green is in for this second down play.
Now you bring a little bit of brute force here. You got a defense that's wounded. You got fresh legs in the backfield, carrying about 205 pounds.
Taking more time as well. They're down to 5 on the play clock. Design run for McCurry. And McCurry, for a moment, kept his footing. And it's Marabella who'll be credited with the stop and 3rd down and 5.
He had an option to follow Green out of the backfield. He liked the option going up the middle instead of the outside. This is not when you want to go fast. This is when you want that clock to work down.
Tried to get Goose Creek to jump.
20 seconds now on the play clock.
Even when they've gone slow, they've snapped with like 13 on the play clock, and that's where they are right now. Trey Green lowers the pads. Very close to the first down. You can go ahead and give it to him. A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, their second of the drive with an opportunity to put this game away. And we get a look at our Limerick Plumbing, Heating and Air cool play of the game. Gotta be this, right? The fumble? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotta be this. Yannick Smith scoop, score. That touchdown is what made it 20-0 Summerville with 2:53 to go in the first half. Call today, comfortable tonight. Limerick Heating and Air. Trey Green, little slide step to the right.
Similar to last week against Berkeley, go up, 3-touchdown lead, and then withstand a rally.
Winstead takes a timeout. Goose Creek has one timeout remaining. How about our player of the game? If you've watched the last couple of minutes, you could probably guess we're leaning this way. Because Christian Grant, I said it when they got the ball, a chance to put this game away. It was 3rd and 13. You can make a case that that was the play of the game. 3rd and 13, you move the chains, you move the clock. Christian Grant is our player of the game, sponsored by Reliable Equipment. Our end zone scissor lift, also provided by Reliable Equipment. We rent the good stuff. Scissor lifts that go higher than buildings from Reliable Equipment.
I think we have our first jacket sighting of the night.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So, jacket up tomorrow morning
Yeah,
for the
absolutely. Early
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe like when you get rolling. You know, the good news is...
Because I am rolling. I'm not running and walking.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're not going to be going 190 miles an hour in the pace car.
No.
You're going to be, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles an hour.
Yep.
So it'll be a little chilly.
So it could be like the first pant wear day of I don't know how many months.
No, keep going. No, go flip-flops and shorts. You'll be fine.
Okay. Just stick with that style.
Yeah. Why change? It's worked well.
2nd down and 10. Christian Grant, the blocker for McCurry. But he blocked one way. McCurry ran the other.
Love the play of Isaiah Addison tonight.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's the moon.
The moon sees you. Moon sees me. We see the moon. Good-looking night.
Deep thoughts from Dean.
2015,
2 minutes to go.
2016, 2017, 2018. Summerville beat Goose Creek 4 wins in a row. Last 2 years, it's been the Gators. 42-21 in 2019, overtime win last year. Streak broken.
You know what I found most astonishing about going through all of the records? Summerville takes a timeout. They use all the time off their play clock and called a timeout. They've played 53 times prior to this. These are two programs that are correctly viewed as two of the best in the state, right? That's a fair statement?
Sure.
They've played 53 times. Only once have both been ranked when they played. That surprised me. That was 2014. That's when number 9 Goose Creek beat number 4 Summerville, 21-14.
What year was that?
2014.
Wow.
A minute
Joe
35
Call,
to go.
That was McKissick's last year. Joe Call took over in 2015. Took it over on an interim basis and then was named the permanent head coach the following year. Went to a lower state title in 2018. Lost to Dutch Fork. Spent 17 years at the school total.
That's what Rafferty spent at Fort Dorchester before coming over here to replace Joe Call. 3rd down and 8. Do they have another 3rd and long in them? If they do, it wins the game. Here's Grant. Maybe more. Grant stumbles down. It's probably in his best interest, but he's frustrated. An A&I Fire and Water Restoration first down, making your house home again after disaster strikes.
Man.
That's it. That puts the game away. Goose Creek can only stop it once. We're a couple kneel downs from Summerville, hanging on to what at one point was a 20-0 lead.
Did he hit that hole quick or what?
It's like he knew he's already been named the player of the game. He said, I'm going to make that work.
He had one more highlight in him. There's your first kneel down.
They need one more. Goose Creek offensively never got on track. They averaged over 50 points a game in a 3-game winning streak coming into this game.
Yep.
Never looked like they were in sync in the first half. Trailed it 20-0 until a late score in the first half made it 20-6. Made it 20-13 on a 41-yard strike to Kion Smith early in the fourth quarter, and it looked like Goose Creek had some momentum, had something brewing. But Summerville has converted a 3rd and 13, a 3rd and 8 on this game-clinching drive, and it's the green wave that turns away the Gators, holds Dimitri Simmons out of the end zone, and this is going to feel like a very, very good win that could go a long way for the green wave.
Signature win for Ian Rafferty in his second year. I love the mentality that he's brought to this program. I love the grinded out mentality. He wants to run it, and he's got the backs to do it. And just watch where we are in our perch in the press box. Some of the assistant coaches for Summerville came down, heading down to the field, and it's time for our nightly dance party. But each one of them, a huge sigh of relief.
We'll step aside. We'll get you back for our cool trophy presentation and award Christian Grant Player of the Game. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Let's.
Hello from Cruz Chevrolet. I'm Scott Eisberg with Ken French, Scott Milroth, the marketing guy. Let's talk to you first, Ken French. Year in, year out, you guys are on board with Friday Night Rivals. Why is that?
Well, first of all, we love it. We love supporting local sports teams, and this just seemed like a great way to get some added exposure to help the community some. So we're happy to be partners of y'all's, and we're locally owned and operated. Robert and Kelly Cruz. We've been here for almost 12 years now as Cruz Chevrolet, and it's just great to give back to the community, and that's something that Robert demands that we do day in and day out is give back.
Scott, what could they come to you for?
I'll tell you what, you come down and see us, we have a phenomenal selection of used cars. We're starting to get some new inventory in. Our trucks are flying, so come and see us. We'd be happy to help you. Best place to buy a vehicle 6 years in a row.
You've got a friend in the car business on Rivers just north of Northwoods Mall.
They're ready down there on the field, so let's get down to them. A victorious Green Wave bunch that knock off the Gators 20-13 and Trooper Bob.
Yeah, we're down here on the field with 22, Christian Graham, player of the game, reliable equipment player of the game. Here we go. You ain't got to talk, coach.
There you go.
Tell us about the second half of the game.
Second half, it's an unbelievable game. What you see right here in front of you is a football team. They hang in there, they fight together, they never give in. It's a great job, unbelievable.
Great job on the ground game also.
Yeah, that's what we're about. You know, we're about getting turnovers on defense and pounding people into submission on offense. That's what you're going to see from us the rest of football season. That's what we're all about.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I got a trophy for you guys. Here you go. I'm going to get out the way so you can celebrate. Here we go.
Finally, people are dancing when the lights are shining like that.
Get up.
Reason to be thrilled. They beat a good Goose Creek team and made them look not as good in doing so. Summerville wins it on QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet. Thanks to all of our sponsors for making this possible. We remind you, 5 minutes. Well, it'll feel like that. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Cooper River Bridge Run coverage on ABC News 4. Next week, we'll have Goose Creek as they try and bounce back against Jerry Brown, who's back in town with the Berkeley Stags. For all our sponsors, we appreciate you. For my partner, Dean Stevens, for Nick Case, Jason Bennett, I'm Darren Goldwater. Summerville wins it 20-13. QFS Transportation Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet.